God, speak for me, Father. Let my tongue be yours, Lord. Let my words be the words that you want me to speak.
Welcome to the channel God led you to. And this is my journey of faith versus PCOS. Thank you so much for clicking back on my channel if you are returning. And if you are new, hey, welcome in, sisters and supporters. I know a lot of people probably look like y'all only got a few inches of snow, but in the South, so it's nice for us to get anything, and especially for it to stick around for a few days. It was really, really nice for my dogs to be able to go out and play because they never saw snow before. So we had a good little time for the small amount of time that we were out there. We didn't stay too long because I don't like the cold very much. So we came back in and just relaxed and enjoyed looking outside through the window. I'm going to actually talk to you guys about my miscarriages. So we're going to get a little bit more in depth and in detail about what was going on, how I found out I was pregnant, and also what I was feeling when I lost the pregnancy. Please stay tuned. And if you like this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love to get to know you guys as you get to witness my journey. Hello and welcome in. I decided to do a quick story while I am on my way to choir rehearsal. I'm not really one of those sit down and talk type of people, but I know you guys are on this channel for a reason. Y'all are here to, get more information about PCOS. Again, I like to do the vlog life, just to spend a day with me, see what I got going on, what I'm going through. Again, the page is also about faith. I like to talk about what's going on in my life, how I'm keeping myself sane, how I'm leaning on my faith in different things, in different ways, but definitely want to give y'all some insight on my PCOS journey. I sat down and I was trying to figure out what are some things that I look for, because it's a lot of people with PCOS and there's a lot of information out there, but as far as actually having a real person sit down and talk to you from their real life perspective, what are some things that I would be looking for, or what are some things that I would want more information on? So one of the things that I thought about and that just came to my mind, or I'm just going to say God put there, because again, I don't know who my page is for. It could be for one person, or, I can have multiple people. I don't know, but what's some things that this person might need? And God put it in me to talk about my miscarriage. So let's just say my miscarriage is. So, the one that stung the most was the first one. That's the one that took me through a loop. I went through so many emotions. I went through so much. I don't want to say I lost my faith, but me and God were kind of trying to understand. I would say I was trying to understand him. And in faith and being a Christian, one of the things, is lean not on your own understanding. But I didn't understand, even though I'm not supposed to question God, or I'm not supposed to, try to understand what he's doing in my life. I mean, we are still human, so we definitely go through a moment of trying to like, God, what are you doing? You know, what is this for? Trying to get clarity on things. But that miscarriage was, man, it was a lot. It was a lot mentally, and it's not something that lasts for a few weeks or a few months. This lasts for years. This had a big impact on my life for years. One of the things that I tried to understand was why. You know, and when I say why, I mean like, why am I going through this? Why did I get pregnant to lose the baby right after? Why did I not even have an opportunity to see an ultrasound? Why did this happen? Was I the problem? Was I the cause? Was it me? And you know, I strongly believe in the power of the tongue. And so I'll get to that on what I had said that made me wonder, like, did I cause this with my own words, with my own mouth? Or was it something that I did that caused this? You know, it was a lot of questions. I did not have a menstrual cycle for months. And so when I got pregnant in November of 2014, I wasn't thinking that I was pregnant because I did not have a menstrual cycle. There was nothing that, you know, oh, I'm late or anything like that. Sometimes PCOS with different people, it can mean an absent cycle. I'm literally sitting here like just living another day. So when I got pregnant, I actually had implantation bleeding. I did not know it was implantation, and that's the reason why I can pinpoint when I got pregnant. So it was normal for me to spot sometimes. And at this particular time, like, I remember talking to my husband and telling him that, oh man, I'm on my cycle. And I had went to the bathroom that morning and I saw some bleeding, and it was really, really light, like very light pink. I went back later that night and it was nothing. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not on my cycle. Like, I don't know, but let's just wait and see. So then I did the same thing the next day. And when I wiped, it was light pink. And then later on that day, it was nothing. I was like, okay, I'm confused. Like, I don't know what's happening with my cycle, but whatever. And so I didn't try to understand it because I had been dealing with my PCOS symptoms since like 2009. And so that's when my cycle first went away, and I had no clue what was going on. And, you know, it was just absent and all types of stuff. Fast forward from November 2014 until around December, I was so confused. I was so lost. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got out of the sunlight and it's getting dark, so I'm so sorry. I forgot my ring light. But yeah, again, I got to the point where I'm having symptoms of pregnancy. And again, PCOS does have symptoms that mimic pregnancy. But at this point, like, I'm really experiencing some weird pregnancy symptoms. And so, of course, pregnancy crossed my mind. It's not one of those I didn't know I was pregnant situations. Like, I did not have a clue that I was pregnant because my cycle is not normal. On top of that, I had tests. Okay? I took pregnancy tests, and my tests were coming up negative. I'm not talking about, oh, this is a faint positive. None of that. My tests were absolutely no, you are not pregnant, negative. It was a hard time, you know, trying to understand what was going on with my body. And I ended up searching for stuff, and I started seeing that, oh, okay, these can be symptoms of PCOS, and this is going on and that's going on. So of course that's what I thought it was. I'm like, okay, this got to be my PCOS playing around with me. Like, why am I feeling these types of symptoms? I had a symptom of nausea, and even to this day, I still get nausea out of the blue, and I vomit out of the blue. The other symptom was fatigue, and that is abnormal for me because I usually go through, I would have insomnia, and I still have it really, really bad even now. where I would go 24 hours at that time without sleep. And as bad as it is for your body, I just could not sleep. I couldn't do anything. I would look at ASMR videos to try to go to bed. Nothing was helping me. When I started having fatigue, I'm just like, okay, I'm super tired. Maybe this is catching up with me. But I also knew that was a pregnancy symptom. That's another thing that led me to testing. I tested twice. And I remember specifically testing at 6 weeks. I tested. That pregnancy test, again, was super negative. Like, there was no thought, oh, I could be pregnant. No, it was super negative. Even any doctor's appointments, nothing was picking up my pregnancy. I went through all of those different symptoms. I had the nausea, I had the vomiting. I remember my mother-in-law, my husband and I were getting ready to walk, and as soon as we came, I threw up something yellow, and my mother-in-law was on the phone, and she had asked my husband, like, hey, what's wrong? And he was like, I don't know, she just threw up out of the blue, and it was a little bit, and it was yellow. And she said, uh-oh, I don't know what that means, even to this day. Like, I don't know what that means. But apparently she had an idea of, oh, she might be pregnant, but she didn't tell us at the time. I remember my friend had told me I was pregnant, and my friends was telling me I was pregnant multiple times because they know me, they know my pattern, they know my habits, all that stuff. And so I would go to my friend's house all the time, and I mean, we were friends that could just hang out at the house and go to sleep. I went to my friend's house and I just went to sleep. And I started getting frustrated while I was over there because every time I would doze off, I would wake back up with the urge to pee. Maybe I should turn this light on. That ain't helping y'all. Sorry. All right, well, I'm losing my son and I'm trying to do this vlog really quick. But the sun is going down so fast. But yeah, so one of the things with the frequent urination, it was so aggravating to have to continuously wake up to go pee. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I gotta pee again. Like, I was so mad. But again, I had tested and my test was negative. So no, I'm not thinking that I'm pregnant at the time. I remember going to the store and I just picked up icing. Just randomly picked up some icing. And my friend snatched it out of my hand and she was like, girl, take your pregnant behind on. And I laughed because the situation was funny, like to actually have a random craving for icing, but I did not feel like I was pregnant. So, anytime she would say I was pregnant, it was kind of triggering for me, but I never let her know that. So it's not her fault, but she was just telling me like, sis, you pregnant. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I didn't tell her I tested, but I had tested. Next situation, we went to Applebee's and we absolutely loved going to Applebee's and getting the steak. I am so confused, y'all. I'm sorry. This car is trying to pull over. They got their hazards on. Oh my God, that accident is bad. Maybe that's why they're going over there. Wow. I hope everybody's okay. Lord God, please put your shield over them, Father God, and let them all be safe. Keep us all covered and give us traveling mercies. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Wow. Woo. Okay, let's get a bed together. This light is going so bad. I don't know if I can continue. I am losing light really, really fast. Like, so I'm not gonna be able to continue. I want y'all to be able to see me and not just darkness. Did not anticipate the sun going down this quickly on my drive. So I'll continue when I get back home and get a chance to settle, or if I get an opportunity to turn the light on in here, one that's actually gonna make a difference. So we'll see, but I'll check back in with y'all. You came to pump my gas. You so sweet. It's taking way too long. Been so long. So yeah, let's stop at 20 because I'm not staying out here all night. A plug in week. These are cute. Oh, manifestation, baby. Manifestation. What aisle should review? Yes, baby. I am a Falcons fan. Falcons lover. Look at that. This look like they comfortably uncomfortable. Oh, look at it. It's so tiny. My baby will be dripped out in Falcons. Don't y'all be hating. Oh, look at that. It's cute. I like Elf. Yeah, I got a sweet tooth and I am craving some snacks. And I especially want some hot snacks. Especially want some hot snacks. So I will indeed be busting down on these. But, ask him to open these. Yes, I'm serious. Like you think I'm playing. Tell me I want that. Top shelf, baby. Top shelf. Yes, my love. Y'all are welcome. Y'all are so welcome. Doing them a good service around here today. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna sit that right here. And then we gonna restock. I should get paid. My husband wants a box too. How you gonna choose? Just plates. Nah, because he said that he. All right, so pretty much I just wanted to go back and start what I started, well, finish what I started in a car. So I was going through the process of giving y'all some information as I was traveling because, again, I want this to be a vlog. I want this to be like a day in a life type of situation. When it comes down to my PCOS, that thing, child, we are frenemies, okay? We gotta live together, so we gotta put up with each other. But she be doing too much. I wanted to touch base on what I went through with my miscarriages. I had the miscarriage. I healed from the miscarriage. I am okay. And that's why I was able to go through the chemical pregnancy last year being okay. I was extremely excited about that pregnancy because I felt like, oh my God, like I see another positive. And it was a faint positive, but it was there. And I was so anxious and excited to watch it get darker. And I took my test again within like 24 to 48 hours. So, of course, at that point, I'm really, really excited. I'm like waiting to show my family. Like, I always said I was going to hold on to my pregnancy as a secret for a little while due to what happened with the first one. But I could not contain that. So, I was so excited to like tell my mom. Like, that is the number one person I wanted to be like, Mom, this time you can't say nothing, okay? Because boy, she threw it out there the first time. But I was just like, this time you can't say nothing. But girl, I'm not gonna hold this for 14 weeks. Like, I'm having a baby. So I was so excited to tell her that, but it did not work out. Within 48 hours, I tested again, and the test was still light. So I was like, okay, that's weird. Maybe something to change. And so then I tested again in another 48 hours, and the test just got lighter and lighter until it was nothing there. I knew it was a chemical pregnancy. I've been on this trying to conceive journey or TTC journey for many years. So I know the signs of what's a chemical pregnancy. At the time that I had the chemical, I was just like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't time. I don't know. But, it was early enough for me to not to be attached. To get a little comfortable. We don't talk about miscarriage number.
Miscarriage number one was a lot on me. It was a lot on my husband. It was a lot on my family. You just don't realize like how many people this can impact. You don't realize like how much people love something that they have never seen, touched, anything, but you already love it. It's wild. It wasn't even like we got to the point where my belly was changing or anything like that. You just love it already from just knowing it's there. And I didn't realize how much my family would already love this child that had not even had not even been seen. A child that we didn't have an ultrasound. We didn't have anything to show anybody other than our positive test and other than the test from the doctors. So I didn't grieve alone. I grieved as a community. I grieved as a family. But whew, yeah, miscarriage number one. Some symptoms I still have to this day. So imagine years down the line still not knowing, because I went through that situation on not knowing when I was pregnant. So years down the line, I'm freaking out every time something's similar, and I'm like, am I pregnant? Oh my God, y'all, the amount of money I spent on a pregnancy test over these past 10 years has been ridiculous. I can only imagine. And my husband's so, oh my God, he's so amazing. He really is. He's amazing. He just allows me to go through it because he knows I don't want to have that confusion and I don't want to experience what I experienced the first time. So when I need a test, he's all for it. And I still stand by my Dollar Tree test. That is exactly how I found out I was pregnant the first time. And I used another one when I found out I was pregnant in July. So I stand behind those. I definitely like my first response, all of those as well, because I like to see my different lines, and different tests or whatever. But anyway, the symptoms that I experienced with miscarriage number one were things like I had cravings. I started eating more fried chicken and more potatoes. When I would go to restaurants, I would change up what I was getting, and I would get like chicken tenders and french fries. Mood swings. Mood swings. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was bad. Mood swings were bad. Don't come between a pregnant woman and her food. My friends and I, we had went to the store, and so as we were leaving the store, my friend's like, "What y'all want to eat?" And I'm like, "Something with chicken and some fries." I'm like, That's all I could think about was chicken and fries. And so we're on our way up the street, and she said, "Oh, Chick-fil-A," and I'm like, "Oh, Chick-fil-A!" Like, yes. So I'm getting super excited. And we start to get closer to the Chick-fil-A. As we're getting closer to Chick-fil-A, I'm getting really, really excited. Like, oh, they ain't got no line. Like, thank you. So I'm extra, extra excited because that means like I can get my food. I can get it now. Y'all. While we get even closer, and I'm like, what a car is that? I'm like, where the car is at in the parking lot? And so then my friend said, it's Sunday. Oh my God. Immediately, I'm like, man. I cried myself to sleep in the car. In the car. Because Chick-fil-A was closed on a Sunday. That was ridiculous. Okay, to Applebee's. Went out with my friend. We normally would always get the steak and the loaded mashed potatoes, and it was so amazing. So I did not get that this time. I remember getting chicken tenders and french fries, and somebody had a steak delivered to their table. Oh my God. Y'all, it smelled like they had just killed the animal, put it on a plate, and took it to their table. It was so absolutely disgusting to me. It was, oh, that smell. That smell was so bad. I don't think I've had the steak and mash since then. But that smell, like when they say you can smell everything as a pregnant woman, it is, man, I did not think that was true until I started experiencing things. That was a horrible, horrible smell. I almost vomited at the table. Like, it was so bad. And I remember my friend was like, "You pregnant?" And I'm like, "Girl." Oh. So my friend kept saying I'm pregnant. Nothing against her. Like, she didn't realize at the time. I never told her that even the thought of pregnancy made me sad because it just was not happening. So I never told her my emotions behind it. So whenever she would tell me I was pregnant during that time, I was irritated, but I never said anything to her to make her want to be more sensitive or anything like that because she was calling it like she sees it. She's a mom. She's like, "You're pregnant." And I'm like, "Girl, I didn't tell her," but I'm like, "Sis, I'm taking tests. So no, I'm not." But I remember sitting back and we had a heart to heart in a car. And she was like, "Why won't you just test?" And at this point, I'm like, I don't want to. And she was like, "So, I mean, but why not?" Like, it wasn't clicking in her head. Like, she didn't understand my choice of not wanting to test. It was, for me, heartbreaking to continuously see this negative. But on her side, she's like, "You obviously pregnant." Like, in her mind, "Girl, you got all the symptoms. Like, you got frequent urination, you have fatigue, you have nausea, you were vomiting." But she's like looking at it like, "You have all of these symptoms. So why won't you just test to get the confirmation?" And I remember breaking down and I told them, and this is where I started to question a lot when it came down to my faith and the power of the tongue. I'm a strong believer that the power of the tongue is life and death in it. And so it made me, for a long time, like I'm sitting back and I'm wondering, like, "Hey, did I have something to do with this miscarriage? Like, is it something I did? Or is it something I said to cause it?" It was a lot, as far as playing with me mentally. And I remember telling her, I said, "It'll be easier if I miscarried because then at least I will know I can get pregnant." Y'all, watch what you say. Because when I tell you, I had no clue that miscarriage would hurt so bad. I don't know. I just didn't think it would hurt as bad as it did. My mind was just like, okay, people miscarry all the time. And most people miscarry their first child. I would have never thought it would hurt as bad as it did. And I never thought it would affect me the way that it did and for as long as it did. Um, watch what y'all say. Again, watch what you say. Constantly just lean on your faith, lean on God, and just know His timing is perfect. I mean, we got examples in the Bible on perfect timing. When God is ready for you to have something and when you are ready to receive what He has for you, it's going to be perfect timing. What actually made me go through the process of taking a test, my great aunt is the reason I took a test. Oh, people be knowing. Okay. My mother-in-law and my husband's aunt started treating me like a queen when we went to Christmas and I wasn't feeling good. So apparently like they had already felt something. And then my great aunt, y'all, we always have a New Year's brunch with my family. And when we had this New Year's brunch, I'm in the kitchen cooking and I'm like making sure everybody eat. My aunt was like, hey, did you eat? And I'm like, no, not yet. Like, I'll eat in a minute. As we go on, it hits like maybe like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. And I'm used to not eating until later on in the day anyway. As, as I continue cooking, my auntie checks on me again. It's like, did you eat? And I'm like, no, auntie, I haven't eaten. Like, I'm okay. I'm going to keep cooking right now. And so then the next time she came back and was like, did you eat? And I'm like, why do you keep checking on me? I didn't say that, but I definitely was thinking it. I'm like, why does she keep coming back checking on me like back to back? And so at this point, I'm like, you know what? Let me eat because apparently I'm not going to satisfy her until I do so. Like, she's not going to enjoy her family time until I eat. I sat down, I made me a plate. Oh my God, I had some amazing breakfast food on this plate. As I sit down and I start to eat, I felt so sick. I took one bite of my food and I pushed the plate away. My aunt stared at me. And I looked back at her and I'm like, Auntie, I'm good. I just don't feel good because I'm just now eating. And so she was like, and I was like, Auntie, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm used to this. It's okay. And she was like, I'd be sick too if you didn't feed me all day. Look at me. I'm like, I, y'all, look, I'm still almost speechless. I took a test after that. So when I tested with such an attitude, y'all. I remember I tested late at night. Like, I didn't wait until no morning, do no first morning urine. I didn't wait for nothing. I was pissed. Okay? I was so mad that everybody kept looking at me like I was pregnant. I had literally taken a test at 6 weeks. So at this point, like, no, I'm not pregnant, and y'all just keep coming to this conclusion that I am when it's really my PCOS. I went in the bathroom and I had one of those Dollar Tree tests that come with the dropper, a disposable cup, used the bathroom, left the test on the counter, walked out. I was heated. But I waited for a moment and I went back in the bathroom. My husband's sitting on the counter at this point, like just trying to be supportive and trying to figure out like what's going on. I go back in the bathroom. I look at the test. It was negative. I take the urine in the disposable cup, pour it out, throw the cup away, flush the toilet, went to grab the test to throw it in the trash. Like, I was mad. And when I picked this test up to throw it away, I glanced. And this test was blazing positive. When I tell you my line was darker than the test line. And I freaked out. My husband's sitting on the counter and I didn't even see him at this point. I screamed for my friend. My friend came running into the room, snatched the test, and was like, take another one. And I'm like, I mean, I don't have any more urine. Like, and poured it out. I was mad. Literally, I walked around the house like this. I could not understand that I was pregnant. I couldn't process it, especially not in my space. Like, take me somewhere. I don't want to be here right now. Like, I can't. What? I'm pregnant? Like, it was a mixture of shock, excitement, and instant fear. How is baby coming out? That was like one of my main thoughts. How is it coming out? Oh my God. I gotta give birth. I gotta give birth. Like, I was so scared. I wanted so bad, but I was so scared. And I knew God would get me through the birthing, but I was terrified. I went to my friend's house, and she only stayed like maybe 10 minutes away. By the time I got to her house, again, frequent urination. By the time I got to her house, y'all, I had to pee so bad. we get a test. She just so happened keeps tests at her house, to make sure she's good. And so I take another test. And when I took that test, it was blazing positive. And so she was like, do you want me to take one just so you know it's real? And I'm like, yeah, like take one. Girl, that could have been real bad. Like, what if your test is positive too? She took one, it was negative. And so I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, I gotta go tell my mom. Like, I gotta tell my mom. I can't just give her this news over the phone. I have to tell my mom. I drove to my mama's house. I showed her the test. My mom ran around her room screaming, so excited, gave me back the test and said, take another one. And I'm like, Mom, like, I don't just keep tests in my pocket. So I don't have another test to take. So me and my friend went to Walgreens and we picked up first response tests instead of the Dollar Tree ones. So I went back to my mom's house and they were positive. And so she ran around the room again and then was like, now take one that says positive or pregnant. So the two lines is not doing it for you, ma'am. I go back to Walgreens with my friend. I'm pretty sure at this point Walgreens is like, girl. This point, they're the clear blue, the ones that tell you whether or not you're pregnant and how many weeks. And so when I get in here and I take this one comes up and says pregnant. It said 1 to 2 weeks. So it was saying like early. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I just got pregnant. That's why the test wasn't showing up for week 6 is because I'm only a few weeks along. Like, I don't know. So the next day, my friend and I, we go to the doctor. We get our confirmation that I'm pregnant. I started talking about like where I'm going to have the baby, all types of stuff. And we're trying to get everything in line so that I can have a smooth pregnancy. Later that night is when trouble happened. I started cramping. And these cramps are coming in kind of mild, but I'm like, it's scary because I just found out I'm pregnant. So why am I cramping? We went to the ER. I had like a little bit of spotting, but not much. I didn't know what else to do other than like, hey, something's wrong. They checked me, checked my cervix. My cervix is closed. They gave me my beta. Then they were like, everything's fine. Everything wants to shut my story off. We gonna let this ambulance or fire truck or whatever go by. I pray everything's okay. At the doctor, they give me all my information and they was like, everything's good. Like, we don't see anything. It's normal to spot during pregnancy. It's normal to feel cramps, which it is sometimes. And so I went home, with a clear mind and I'm like, everything's good. Y'all, that night, at this point, I'm not even gonna say that night. It was like probably 1 or 2 in the morning. So that next morning, which was January 5th, I experienced the most excruciating cramps I've ever had. And I have bad cramps with just my regular menstrual. They were horrible. And I couldn't do anything but just sit there and cry. I already knew what was wrong. There's no way I'm cramping this bad and this normal. And when I went to the bathroom, I was bleeding so heavy. And I just knew. I knew it. As I'm bleeding and I'm clotting really bad. Of course, one of those clots, unfortunately, was me passing my child. I cried so much. And I remember my husband holding me and we both were just crying, like laying in the bed, just holding each other. And it was a very emotional time to go through that spiritually as well, like because I didn't understand, what was going on. And right before I had my miscarriage, the day that I went to the doctor, I found out I was 7 weeks versus what I thought with the clear blue that maybe I'm like very early on. Like, no, girl, you're 7 weeks pregnant. And so I'm like, what? For 7 weeks, I had this little thing growing in me, this little baby growing in me. I just did not know it was even there. Like, I tested the week before and you didn't show up. So for you to show up today, like, what? And I'm 7 weeks along? Like, that was crazy. But I'm grateful for what I went through. I'm grateful for the ability to even say that I had a child for a small period of time. I had something that was created between me and my husband growing in my body. I don't know when the baby stopped growing. As far as my body acknowledging it, it happened the day after I found out I was pregnant. One of the things that I found that helped me through the grieving process was I started a scrapbook. And my scrapbook was just healing. In Walmart and Michael's and places like that, they have little sections where you can grab stickers and things for scrapbooks or little pop outs that will go inside of these different books. And I was able to find some that said, I wrote like boy or girl, missing you, mommy's angel, that type of stuff because it healed me. It really did. It had a positive impact on me. It was a lot going through a miscarriage, especially for the first time. It hurt so bad, physically and mentally. It was a lot. But I went through talking to God, and I was like, I don't understand, like, why somebody like me wouldn't have a child when I want one so bad, and I just know I'm gonna be an amazing mom. In these past years, I feel like God has strengthened me and had a lot of growth in me with making sure I'm patient, making sure I'm understanding. And things that I thought that I already was, I felt like He groomed me and made me even more whole. Whenever it's His timing, we're going to be great. Like at this point, I'm able to say we have a house. And I don't have to move my child from place to place or anything like that. My child has a home to come to whenever God is ready for me to have that baby. I'm going to have one. So I know I got a lot of people out there rooting for me. A lot of people praying over me. A lot of people praying over my womb. I receive all positivity, all good prayers and things. So I thank y'all so much for just the support. And, I don't know what this story is going to do for somebody else out there, but trust me, it feels like the end of the world for a moment, but with time you heal. And this year, my baby would have been 10. So I'm healed. I'm happy. I feel like my grandma is up there with my little one. Like, I know what really happens after death, but I'm gonna allow myself to explore that. And my grandma's up there with my baby. So thank y'all again so much for your support. Thank you for even listening to me, coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Like, this journey is starting. I'm starting this YouTube for something or someone. I just thank God for the outlet to be able to pour my story into the world. Like, I'm such a private person and I hold in so much. But I thank y'all so much for just sticking with me and going through this journey and just seeing what I go through in my life.